All right, guys. I have with me, hopefully, I've been saying your name right, Mokri.
It's actually a mockery from Colin Mockery of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, Colin Mockery. Oh, man. That's a great reference. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it was actually supposed to be someone's last name.
Yeah, I get that every single day, man. I had an NGS caster last season call me Morochi, so you're far
Morochi.
from the worst.
All right. Well, that definitely clears it up. So, once again, with me is Get Stuffed, and they got the domination victory over Old and Gold. So obviously, congratulations on that. And how do you guys feel after the series?
I mean, I think we feel really good about that one. We definitely had a very solid game plan both times. We felt that we were able to correctly identify exactly the weaknesses in the enemy team's draft and how to exploit it, and also how to bring that into the game itself in terms of like how to shape our strategy and all that. And I feel that
Hmm.
that's where I'm happy we executed.
Yeah, the first game, I have to say, you guys looked unstoppable for that game. I mean, you were ahead 11-9, knocking on their keep basically at that point, and I'd assume you guys were basically like, we can't lose this game at this point as long as we don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, when we got those 2 turn-ins in a row before then, we knew that, like, they just had to get a turn-in down several levels to even have a chance of getting back in that game, and we had a very comfortable position. We just how do I put it? Like, we could control the entire map, get the camp whenever I wanted in the bot lane, and then that actually, ended up playing a really big part in our victory because we had that sort of dance in the top lane by the boss, and the whole time the Siege Giants were beaten on their bot lane. So I
Mhm.
feel that just our team utilized that advantage by holding down, just pure map control they were able to get after that second turn in, and we utilized that to a crazy degree. We recognized when they couldn't hearth because of that camp in the bot lane, or when they needed to hearth. So we chased them down all the way to their keep, got a few kills that way, immediately turned it back around for a boss. Just draft and map control. That's how we did it.
Yeah, and it it obviously led to victory there. It's almost a clinic on how to play and how to macro, like when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive, and how to try and optimize your Team of the Spider Queen game.
And these teams just need to stop giving me Tracer. That's just free.
Especially with a team named Get Stuffed, you might want to be thinking they're going to play Tracer.
Yep, we have. I'm the coach, and I'm a Tracer main, and we have two Tracer players. So one day people will get the hint.
So tell me about game two. How were you guys feeling about, I'd say, halfway through that game when it was the 13 to 11/12 situation?
Like you might think we were kind of disheartened by that, but I actually felt that we had it under control the entire time because yeah, we had gotten blown up, but like we were able to diagnose the problem in game really fast, and we said, okay, we're getting blown up because we're clumping too much on this side of the objective, and as soon
Hmm.
as we just get to the objective earlier, set up on the objective earlier, set up further into the objective so they can't force us into a little ball and then charge strikes us all down, we're able
Yep.
to identify the problem, immediately deal with it. And you can see how when we get to that bot lane trig love, we're in a very different position than that sort of tight little ball on the left side of the objective. And it works wonders for how the fight actually goes. So
Yeah.
I actually felt really good about that and identifying what was going wrong and fixing it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's hard for most teams to identify what's going wrong in their game and correct it during said game. Most people wind up saying, okay, we'll have to go back to the replay, see what we should do it to improve. And the quicker you identify the problem, obviously, in a game, the better the results become. And obviously, that's if you guys couldn't identify it, you would have probably lost that game.
Oh, for sure. The way we were playing those first two tributes, we were just on a collision course with a fast loss.
Yeah. I mean, it was actually highly impressive, though, nonetheless, in terms of how many team fights you guys had between each other with zero kills, where everyone pressed their R keys at some point, and every team had to walk away because too many people were low.
Yeah, that was just crazy to me. And like, when you have a double support team comp on our side and they've got a divine palm and a bunker, it's not really surprising, but still at the end of the game we looked and we were like, dang, only 7 kills happened this
Hmm.
entire game. And I personally blame that on Battlejet for not chasing kills when he could have, and I'm gonna yell at him for that later. But overall, yeah, it was crazy to look at.
So who does your shot calling and drafting? Is it? I saw John Knight mention something about doing the drafting. Is he the dedicated drafter? Is it a team thing? And is shot calling kind of a team thing or a one man's kind of job?
So, when it comes to shot calling in game, I'll start off with that and then go to drafting. When it comes to shot calling in game, it's a lot of Dragon King directing us. He's a very vocal player, very, very good, specifically about letting us know when we have that advantage. Anytime, like for instance, game one, I can go back to that where they had the Johanna.
Hmm.
Every time the Johanna had her iron skin down, we were looking to exploit that because we noticed she had this tendency to pop it really early. And
Yep.
Dragon King is supremely good at calling out when the enemy team gives us that kind of opening. So he handles our in-game shot calling. And usually I don't play in these games because I'm the coach, but when
Hmm.
I do step in as a substitute, I also help out with that a little bit. And then when it comes to the draft, that's John Knight's area. He directs everybody entirely. And then we all chip in a lot though, just with like, oh hey, this is good here. Like I remember like we were just going back and forth trying to talk about what to first pick, and then with like 7 seconds left, I think it was Battlejet that was like, "Wait a second, they banned Deckard. Like we can just pre-pick Alex Straze here without her hardest counter."
Yeah.
So it's definitely with both cases, it's very much led by one individual, but everybody chimes in a lot.
Okay. Yeah. It's always interesting to hear as every team has different setups and what works for them. I think as you get to kind of like the higher tiers of teams, you'll have a little bit more input from the individuals as everyone has something to add, but then you'll have kind of like your dictator, in this case John Knight, who manages it all in the end for in this case drafting.
Like I have a lot of experience leading a team on my own from my Heroes of the Dorm play where I was a captain. And what I've generally found to work for me and the teams that I have experience with is everybody contributes, but one person directs, in that everyone is providing information and one person is actually synthesizing that information into a plan of action.
Yeah,
And like I
it's
feel like a lot of teams try to get multiple people calling out the action when you want information from everybody. Everybody
mhm.
sees something else, but you want action in a unified way.
Yeah, it's essentially the problem of too many chiefs, not enough Indians, or too many cooks in the kitchen. If you have everyone trying to do everything.
Definitely.
So, were you guys feeling good coming into the series? Did you know anything about Old and Gold, or was it just kind of well, uh, we're doing pretty well so far this season. We'll just take it, the series one game at a time.
More of the second, although that's not typical for us. Usually, I'm a very research heavy type of guy. Going
Hmm.
into Heroes of the Dorm, before going into some of these matches, I would sit down and go over everybody's HOTS logs. I mean, especially with the rules in this league where everybody has to keep their HOTS logs open. If you just really sit down and stare at that for a while and sort of keep a document, you can get a really good idea of a strategy going in ahead. I did not do that this time because of real life obligations. Sorry, but that is our typical game plan.
Okay. Yeah, and that's definitely good to know and definitely shows like you got your guys' commitment to excelling in NGS since, various levels and are all about just playing casually while other teams are really looking to win the series and looking to make it to the playoffs and or win the playoffs as well.
Yeah, my guys in particular, I know them, and they're hungry for success. These guys, they came together. They think that they're each a bunch of really good players, and I can see it in their attitudes when we do VOD review and whatnot. They're very receptive to coaching, and they're all very strong. They make big plays on a regular basis, so I would definitely put us in that here to win category.
So before we go, I'm going to give the floor over to you and any shout outs you'd like to give.
Let me see here. Honestly, shout out to everybody watching. I think the NGS community is a really fun one. We got a really good crowd here. And shout out to my team. Shout out to BattleJet. You will never be half the tracer that I am. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much for the interview, and good luck to you and your team. Get stuffed in the rest of the league play.
All right. Thank you, Akuma. You have a nice night, man.
You too. All right, guys. So get stuff taking their 2-0 victory. They probably have a bright future ahead of them for the rest of the league play until playoffs come around, which will be a little bit tougher for them, I'm sure. But these guys looked pretty good tonight, so other teams will have to keep a lookout for them. And Olden Gold just needs to tighten up some things, tighten up their drafts, and I think they'll be looking pretty gold as well in the future. So thanks so much for sticking around. We'll be heading into our second series of the night, which is going to be Hello Team versus Planet Smashers, who we saw previous week. So sit on tight as I get the coin flip and all that ready to go. And in the meantime, enjoy some of the replays that occurred in the previous series.